All right, welcome to Survive to Thrive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're going to talk about expired listings today. And I've already asked you guys if you would just get into your MLS and pull the expireds from yesterday and today for your market. If you want to pull the entire county, for example, that's fine. If you're in the triad of North Carolina and you're working 3 counties, pull all 3 of those counties. Whatever market you work in, just give me a number of expireds you've got between yesterday and today. Now, as the market continues to shift, and we're seeing the market shift, even in North Carolina now, we're seeing homes sitting on the market longer, fewer leads, fewer showings, fewer sales, all early warning signs that you're headed for market shift. The opportunity that you have in a shifting market is number one, sellers need skill-based agents. They need real estate agents who are local economists of choice, who are experts at marketing listings to the right buyers. They need strategic pricing professionals, and they need fierce negotiators. The second opportunity of a shifting market is you have many more expired listings to prospect. So this becomes one of your main focus or the main focus for future business. All right. What I want you to do is I want you to start creating a daily habit of pulling the expired listings. I'll always go back always go back at least one day. If you just pull new expired listings and cancellations, you're going to get everything that came off the market as of midnight last night, which means anything that came off the market yesterday as a cancellation or a withdrawn, you're not going to see it because you didn't go back far enough. So make sure you're going back 24 hours when you do this search. Now, you're going to pull this list every day and you're going to create 3 different files. Okay, the first file is all of the expired listings for the past week. So 0 to 7 days, file number 1. If you're averaging 10 a day, then you've got 70 expired listings in file number 1. Now, file number 2 is anything that came off the market between a week and 30 days. Now I'll get to file 3 in just a moment, but these are just the first 2 that I want you to focus on. Now, obviously that group in file 2 is going to be pretty large. There might be 100 homes in there. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to start making calls with the most recent expireds first. So this morning you're going to wake up and you're going to look at the expires that came off the market yesterday and today, and you're going to make all of those calls. Now, as soon as you've finished making all of those calls, you're going to go to the expireds from the day before, and then the day before, and then the day before. Remember, you have 1 week's worth of expired listings in file number 1. Here's one of the reasons you're not succeeding when it comes to expired listings. You make one call, nobody answers the phone, and you throw it in the trash. Or you get a grumpy person on the phone and the conversation doesn't go well and you throw it in the trash. For me, that expired listing is going to live in that file until I schedule a listing appointment or they relist the property. Make sure you heard that. Sometimes it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th call that gets the appointment. Sometimes it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th conversation that gets the appointment. Now, the only thing you have to make sure you're doing is once you've got something that's been off the market for a week or 2, start checking to make sure it hasn't been relisted before you call them again, because you don't want to get in trouble, of course. All right. Now, file 2. That second file is anything that's a week old up to 30 days old. That thing could be that thick, all right? There might be 100 expired listings in that file, and you're just going to start from the top and you're going to work your way to the bottom. You make a call, it goes from the top to the bottom. You make a call, it goes from the top to the bottom. Now, every day you're going to start with file 1 and work your way through the past 7 days. Then you're going to go to that next file. And what's going to end up happening is you should get through file 1 once a day. You should be making a call to everybody that's in that list. Once that you've had it for 7 days, it moves over to the second file. That file, you're probably reaching out to those people maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe every 3 to 4 weeks, but you're calling them less, which is fine. Now, how long do they live there? It's up to you. All right. It's up to you if you're going to delete something from a file after 30 days, or are you going to put that off to the side and then come back to it maybe 2 or 3 months later, which is also a really good idea, calling older expired listings, because their phone is not ringing off the hook anymore. They're not dodging phone calls anymore. And there's a better chance of you connecting if it's 2 or 3 months old. All right. There's a number of different platforms that you can use in order to look up expired listings and to look up phone numbers. Vulcan 7, in my opinion, is probably going to be the most reliable. It's also the most expensive. You can share Vulcan 7 with another person to help share the cost, but somebody can put it in the chat. I think it's like $200 a month. It might be a little bit more than that, but it's worth the investment. If it's $200 a month, it's $2,400 a year. In order to 10 time the investment, you need to make $24,000 from the investment, sell 3 homes, and you made a 10-time return. Worth the investment. It's certainly better than getting a list of phone numbers that are all wrong, getting like 4 or 5 phone numbers for each person, which you're going to do with companies like RedX, and maybe half of them are wrong, maybe all of them are wrong, and now you're chasing wrong phone numbers all day, and that's going to get frustrating. So I'd recommend Vulcan 7. All right, make the call. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. It's simple. Don't overcomplicate this. Hey, Joe, John Dietz, local real estate expert. Notice your home came off the market. If I had a full price offer, would you want me to bring you the offer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so if a buyer showed up today, $700,000 cash, that's what your home came off the market at. If a buyer showed up today with $700,000 cash, closing in 30 days, you would reject the offer?
Well, my agent wasn't able to do that. We kept getting lowballed offers, so there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do. I'm going to live here for 3 more years and then put it back on the market.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm only going to ask you one more time, I promise. I'm not pushy. I just want to make sure that you actually would reject that offer if a buyer showed up with $700,000 cash.
You bring me the offer and I'll entertain it, but I'm not entertaining any appointments. My phone's been ringing on nonstop since yesterday when this thing came off the market.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm
And
in no rush to move.
I hear you. I hear that too. And it's frustrating, and all those agents just want to list your house. I get it. The good news is I don't want to list your home. I want to sell your home. Now, in order for me to sell your home, I need 20 minutes to take a look at it so I could potentially bring you that offer. I'm available later today, or I can pop by tomorrow afternoon. Which of those would work better for you?
If you just want to come by, look at the place, and we're not going to talk about you listing my home or anything like that, yeah, we can do tomorrow afternoon. But the minute you talk to me about listing my home, you can get out.
Okay, so here, I'll make a promise to you. I'm never going to ask you to list your home.
All right, we can do tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 3 or tomorrow at 4?
4 works better.
Okay. Now, for all of you who are thinking, well, wait a second, John, what do you mean you're never going to ask Joe to list his home? I'm not. He's going to ask me. And I am going to follow up with him persistently, systematically. I'm leading with value. Remember the 3 things that every homeowner is asking when you show up at their front doors. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? So let's start with those 2. Call ahead of time and confirm the appointment. Hey, Joe, John Dietz, just confirming that we're meeting later today at 4 p.m. Call him when you're on the way. Hey, Joe, John Dietz again. I'm on my way. I'll be there exactly at 4 unless I run into traffic, and I'll give you a call. Make a great first impression when you're standing at the front door. This is your Kodak moment. If you study my 14-point listing presentation, this is step 7, I believe. It's the Kodak moment. I'm knocking on the front door. I am dressed like a professional because I am a professional. The moment Joe opens the door, hey, Joe, it's John Dietz. We had an appointment at 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. May I come in? The moment I walk in the door, wow, you have a beautiful home. I'm so excited to be here and excited for this opportunity to help you sell your home. Now, Joe, if you would, I'd love it if you could take me on a tour of your home. I'm going to ask some questions, take some notes. This is the information, and I'm pointing to the notebook that I'm taking notes on. This is the information I'm going to use to sell your home. If you study embedded commands, you've already heard several of them, right? Now, Joe, before I take another step, would you like me to take my shoes off? All right, let's go back. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? So before I even show up at the front door, I'm conveying I care about you. You can trust me. Now, as Joe is taking me on a tour of his home, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes out loud. What does that mean? I am talking as I'm taking notes. Wow, beautiful family room. I love the vaulted ceilings, love the crown molding, hardwood floors, wood burning fireplace. I'm writing all of these things down. Here's another thing, write it down. Like their home. I've had so many homeowners tell me, John, so-and-so was here. By the way, so-and-so is always some really top dog real estate agent in that market. So-and-so is here and they didn't even like my home. I'm like, interesting. I love your home. Now, I walk into the kitchen. Holy cow, this is absolutely beautiful. When did you update your kitchen, Joe? Granite countertops? Ask, because who knows? Maybe it's not. You're going to ask questions that a buyer would ask. Don't assume that you know the answer, just ask. Maple cabinets, stainless steel appliances, travertine floors, just write things down as you're touring the home. All right. How old is your roof? How old's the AC system? How long have you lived in your home? What kind of updates have you made to your home in the last 3 years? What do you like most about your home? Just out of curiosity, if you weren't selling, what would you update next? Oh, by the way, where were you going if your home sold? So I am slipping in a motivation question. You guys get that? It's important. If your home would have sold, where are you moving? Where were you moving to? What's in Tampa? Are you still interested in getting to Tampa, or have you given up on that goal? Nobody wants to be a quitter. Nobody wants to give up. When you ask the question the way I just did, more than likely you're going to hear, no, I haven't given up on that goal. Got it. All right. Now, the conversation we're going to have at the front door, the exit conversation, is going to determine what happens next. Now, the purpose of the phone call is to get the appointment, period. The end. There's nothing they can say that would cause me not to go. I'm never going to list my home. If I do, I'll just kind of put it with the same agent. They're a friend, they're a family member, whatever. Who cares? It's noise. There's no reason I'm not going. If I ever list my house again, I'm hiring some flat fee company. Cool. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 or 4. So the purpose of the call is to get the appointment. Now, the purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. It is not to convert this to a listing appointment. This is where so many real estate agents are getting it wrong. They go on an appointment and then they tell me, John, I went on this appointment, but it really was just a lousy appointment. I'm like, really? Why is that? Because they're not serious, they're not motivated. They want $100,000 more for their home than it's worth. They're gonna hire somebody else, and they're giving me all of the reasons why they believe it's not a good opportunity. To me, every opportunity is a good opportunity. There's no such thing as a bad lead, just bad real estate agents who don't follow up. I'm looking to build a foundation to follow up with, because I know that there's a process every seller goes through where not interested, not interested, not interested, not interested. Now I am. Something changes, their motivation changes. And your job is to create emotional proximity by continuing to stay in touch with them systematically, leading with value, not being pushy. When you make follow-up calls, make the follow-up calls about them. What can you do to help them? What information can you provide for them? What questions can you answer for them? How, and in this situation with Joe, remember I promised him that I promised him that I was never going to ask him to list his house. So here's what's going to happen at some point. Joe's going to ask me a question. Here's the question. John, what would you do to sell my home? Now, as soon as Joe asks that question, now I have permission to talk to him about listing his house. And I'm simply going to respond with, I'd love to get together with you and show you what I can do to sell your home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Does tomorrow afternoon work, or would Thursday be better? Now, I might also remind them that I made this promise. They're usually going to laugh and say something like, yeah, I know, I'm asking you. All right, let's go back to something else here really quick. Don't forget, you have the opportunity to bring them a buyer. Don't forget, you have the opportunity to sell this house. And if you're making calls every day, you should be finding buyers for these properties. Here's why. If I make 40, 50, 60 expired listing calls today and I talk to 20, every single one of them, I'm going to ask, hey, by the way, if your home would have sold, where were you moving? What are you looking for? So I am collecting a list of buyers who are looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home in one of the suburbs around Austin. Don't know the area, but just pick something. And I know exactly what they're looking for. Now I call another expired listing who happens to be in that area, who has the property that Brian was looking for. So I can call Brian back. Brian, I found the house. It's everything you're looking for. And I can bring Brian into that home and I could sell the home, and I'm actually going to make more money than I would if they were to list their home with me. Tell the sellers that too, because they're not putting 2 and 2 together. They think that you're there just to list their home. I'm not. I'm really not. When I say I'm not here to list your home, I'm here to sell your home. I'm not calling to list your home. I'm calling to sell your home. None of you are getting paid to list homes. You get paid to sell homes. The ultimate goal is to sell the house, not list the house. And you're going to net more money if you bring a buyer than you will if you list the home. So when you say that, you're being real, you're being authentic. And bring them a buyer. All right, a couple other ideas before we wrap up here. Pick 5 expired listings a day that you're not getting in touch with, either because you can't find a phone number or because nobody's answering the phone. And go knock on their door. 5 a day, that's 25 a week. Bring a flyer with you that you're going to leave hanging on the door that is a bullet point resume that would cause them to want to call you. Now, the way I would do this is I'd take those 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and I put them in a bright envelope, and I'd get a big Sharpie marker and I'd write urgent on the outside, really, really big. So as they're pulling into the driveway, they can see this envelope leaning against the front door. When they opened the envelope, it was a bullet point list of why they should call me. And I would list 2 or 3 homes every single month just by doing that one thing. Now, here's one more thing you can do for those expired listings where you're not getting people to answer the phone or you can't find the phone number. Email the previous real estate agent. Send them an email. Say, hey, Michael, this is John Dietz. I'm reaching out to you in reference to your property at 123 Main Street. If you plan on relisting that home, please ignore this email. However, if you're not going to relist the home, I would gladly pay you a referral fee of 25% for connecting me with a seller. And I'd list 1 or 2 homes every month from doing that too. And I'd gladly pay that referral fee every single time. All right, I'm at 9:27. Guys, we barely skimmed everything that we could talk about when it comes to calling expired listings, but I wanted to give you different information that I've given you in the past. Hopefully it was. Hopefully you got something new. Take yourself off mute. Talk to me. I like Jeffrey's comment. Brilliant. Thank you, Jeffrey.
I love that. That's great.
Okay.
Pretty clever.
Thank
What kind of pushback did you get from agents that say, like, go pound?
Oh, dude, I wish I would have collected all the emails, because every day I do that, I'd probably send out 10 of those emails a day.
Uh-huh.
And every so often I'd get a response back like, who the heck do you think you are? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Who cares?
Yeah.
noise.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, talk to me. Give me
Hey.
some.
I think when you go to the house, not saying that you're there to list it, I think you come across a little bit more confident, it sounds like, than desperate. Like, hey, I'm not here to list your house like everybody else is begging for. I'm just here to help you find a buyer. I think it shows a little more confidence than someone who's constantly begging for listings. That's what we got out of it.
No, you're absolutely right, Dave. And you know, business is a math equation, and I'm 100% not desperate. Your mindset needs to be, I list 3 homes every single month. I list 4 homes every month. I list 5 homes every month. Whether this person hires me or not, who cares? I'm going to hit my number of 4, 5, 6 listings every single month. I don't really like the phrase, it's a numbers game. Although I get it, it's the path is in the math. You want to take more seller listings, talk to more people. You want to talk to more people and make more calls.
John, on the 5 expired listing a day that are not being picked up, should we do that by like owner occupied or random?
Yeah. So should you pick 5 properties that are owner occupied? Yeah, of course. Right. So that's a good point, Raul. Thank you for bringing that up.
So if you get to the appointment and they say, so do you have a buyer? Like when you're there looking through the house, you know,
So when they ask you, do you have a buyer?
yes.
Yeah, the question is, Crystal, I don't know yet until I've looked at your home.
No, I mean, when you're there looking at their house.
Yeah, your home looks amazing. I love it. I won't know if I have absolutely the right buyer until I get back to the office and compare the notes that I'm taking with all the buyers that I'm working with. If you're making follow-up calls, let's say it's 30 days later and you're hearing, where's the buyer? You know, that's a great question. And the reason I don't have a buyer yet is because nobody's calling me about your home.
John, real quick, my sound quality was really bad at the beginning. Can you just real quick reiterate the list 1, list 2, and list 3? So list 1 is picked expires within the last 24 hours. List when do you transition them over to list 2?
Okay, so list 1 is expired listings from the past week. So you're pulling expired listings every day and you're putting them into file 1. So if you're averaging 10 expireds a day, by the end of the week, you've got, say, 70 expired listings in file 1. Now, after 7 days, they move to file 2. File 2 is a week to 30 days. Now, there could be more than 100, maybe 200 expired listings. I don't know what you guys found because I wasn't looking at the chat, but from the expired listings just from today and yesterday, and some parts of the US, that number could be 50, 60, 70 expired listings just from those 2 days, because the first day of the month and the last day of the month are always the 2 biggest. So that second stack or file could be a couple hundred. You're starting at the top and you're working your way to the bottom. And every time you make a call, it goes from the top to the bottom. So you got this rotating effect where you're reaching out to everybody in file 2, maybe an average of once every 2 to 3 weeks. Now you're going to continue to do that until you decide that it's going in the trash, or they list their home with somebody else, or of course you list it. But one of the mistakes that real estate agents make is they'll make 1 call, maybe 2 calls, have a bad conversation, speak to a jerk, and then decide that's a bad lead and it's going in the trash. It doesn't go in the trash for me for at least 2 months. I don't care what they say, what they do. Don't answer, who cares? It's going to live on my desk for at least 2 months. Never call me again. Cool. Call back in 2 weeks. Guys, I hope you got value today.
Thank you, John.
John, thank you.
Absolutely. Recording will be on Survive to Thrive